Here's a weird portal thing I made. This isn't how you'd normally want a portal to work in 3D, and it doesn't really make much sense, but I made it for a weird game anyway. First, I set up my scene. I made 2 rooms and I spaced them 50 units apart. To pull off this effect, I actually need 3 cameras, one for each room and an overlay camera to go on top of everything else. I took a screenshot of each room and I loaded them into an image editor. I used that as a reference to create this grayscale image showing where I want the portals to open. The darker parts will open first, and the lighter parts will open later or not at all. Now time for a shader. It has to be unlit and transparent. I take the blurred grayscale and I add a bit of noise to it that I'm scrolling with time. I then run the result through a step node so that anything below a certain threshold will be invisible. I also subtract a bit from that threshold to get a new threshold, and I put that into another step node to decide the color. Anything below that threshold gets our main texture, and anything above it gets this cyan color. The idea is that now we can adjust this threshold to open the portal or to close it. To actually use the camera data, I need a render texture. I assign this render texture to the camera of the room that I'm opening the portal to. I then make a material with this custom shader and assign the render texture to that. I slap that material onto a plane and I put that plane in front of the camera. So this is already starting to look pretty good, but I want things to be extra weird and I want a character to move between the scenes. I had to cheat a bit and use a clone, so there's actually 2 of these guys, one in each room. In the main room, I put him on a different layer that I added to my overlay camera. This way he gets rendered in front of everything else, including the portal plane, even though it's behind it. I also still want this layer on the main camera so that he casts shadows. I disable this guy for now. The one in the other room just goes on a normal layer, but after the portal opens, I set the shadow casting mode to shadows only. This turns him invisible, but it keeps the shadows. At the same time, I enable the other person, and then I move the 2 at the same time toward the waypoint. And that's it. This is a weird effect for a weird game, so I'm not sure if this will be helpful to anyone else, but I thought it was cool and I figured I would share. Thanks for watching.